Hi, today I'm talking about my daily routine. Let me tell you what I do on a Monday. Monday is my busiest day. I teach 5 lessons and I also go to the gym. I wake up at 6:15. First, I have a glass of water and then I clean my teeth and I wash my face. Next, I get dressed and I do my makeup. At 7:15, I go downstairs. I make myself a cup of tea and I have my breakfast. Usually, I have a couple of eggs for my breakfast. At 7 o'clock, I wake up my youngest daughter. After that, I go back downstairs and I prepare for my lessons. At just after 7:30, I pack my bag, put on my coat, grab my keys, say goodbye to the family, and then I leave the house. My first lesson starts at 8 o'clock. I have to drive to my student's house. The journey takes about 20 minutes. My student's lesson lasts 2 hours. It finishes at 10 o'clock. After the lesson, I drive to the gym. My Pilates lesson starts at 10:30. It lasts an hour and ends at 11:30. After the lesson, I have a cup of tea with the rest of the class. At 12 o'clock, I go home. And at 12:30, I start teaching again. My third lesson begins at 12:30 and ends at 1:30. At 1:30, I have my lunch. Sometimes my older children come home from school if they have a free lesson, and we have lunch together. Otherwise, I eat on my own. After lunch, I do some housework, I prepare for my lessons, and at 3:30, I leave the house again. My fourth lesson starts at 4:45 and ends at 4:45. Then I drive to my next lesson. My final lesson begins at 5 o'clock and finishes at 6. I drive home and I arrive home at about 6:30. On a Monday, my youngest daughter has a gym lesson. Her gym lesson starts at 5:30 and ends at 8:30. Her gym lesson lasts 3 hours. I teach until 6 o'clock. So a friend of mine takes my daughter and his daughter to gym. And I have to pick them up at 8:30. When I get home from work, I make dinner, I have a cup of tea, and I sit down and have a relax. My husband comes home at 7:30, and he has a tennis lesson at 8 o'clock. Mondays are busy. At 8:30, I have to pick up my daughter from her gym lesson, together with her friend. We arrive home at 9 o'clock. She has some dinner and then she goes to bed. My husband comes home from his tennis lesson at about 9:15. When my youngest daughter goes upstairs, the rest of the family stays downstairs and watches some television. We talk to each other and then I go upstairs at about 10:30 to prepare for bed. My 2 older children go to bed between 10:30 and 11:30. And my husband goes to bed at about midnight. When I go upstairs, I clean my teeth, I have a wash, and I get into my pyjamas. I go to bed at about 11 o'clock, and hopefully I get 8 hours sleep. And that is what I do on a Monday. It is a really busy day. When I talk about what I do on a Monday, I can say on a Monday, or on Mondays, or every Monday. I cannot say on Monday, because on Monday is only once. And if I am talking about once or one time, then I cannot use the present simple. I can only use the present simple when I am talking about routine. And if I do something on a Monday, I do it every week. I do it regularly. It is my routine. So that is why I use the present simple. Let's look back at the film and ask some questions about my daily routine. What time do you wake up on a Monday? Remember, when we are asking a question in the present simple, we need the word do or does plus the original verb. So what time do you wake up on a Monday? I wake up at 6:15. What time do you go downstairs? I go downstairs at 6:45. What time does your first lesson start? My first lesson starts at 8 o'clock. What time does your first lesson finish? My first lesson finishes at 10 o'clock. How long does your first lesson last? My first lesson lasts 2 hours. What time do you go home? I go home at 12 o'clock. What time do you start teaching again? I start teaching again at 12:30. What do you do after your lesson? I have my lunch. Do your other children come home for lunch? Sometimes my other children have a free lesson, so they come home for lunch. What time do you leave the house again? I leave the house at 3:30. What time do you finish work? I finish work at 6. What time does your daughter's gym lesson start? My daughter's gym lesson starts at 5:30. What time do you arrive home after work? I arrive home at about 6:30. What time does your husband come home? My husband comes home at about 7:30. What time do you have to pick up your daughter? I have to pick her and her friend up at 8:30. What does she do when she gets home? She has some dinner and then she goes to bed. What does the rest of the family do? The rest of the family stays downstairs and watches some television. What time do you go upstairs? I go upstairs at 10:30. What time do your children go to bed? They go to bed between 10:30 and 11:30. What time does your husband go to bed? He goes to bed at about midnight. What do you do when you go upstairs? I clean my teeth, I have a wash, and I get into my pyjamas. What time do you go to bed? I go to bed at 11. How much sleep do you get? I try to get 8 hours sleep. In this film, I used the present simple. I used the words do or does plus the original verb to make questions. There are exceptions to this rule, and I will make another film to show you how to put those exceptions into practice. I hope you have found this lesson useful. If you enjoyed the film and you learned something, subscribe to the channel. If you look in the description section below, you will find reference material and exercises and answers to help you with the present simple. If there is an area of English that you find difficult, please let me know. You can also follow Cup of English on Facebook. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.